2023 has, without a doubt, been the most significant year in my life so far. There's no better way for me to describe it than the gift that keeps on taking. Coming out of 2022 grieving the loss of a friend, I unexpectedly lost a family member as well in the midst of changing career paths, changed jobs again after that, lost that job, and now I find myself searching what I want to do next and where I want to go in life. The one constant that has helped me cope through all of this, apart from my better half, was video games. That's why today I want to share with you some games that have left an impact on me, some games that have helped me in some way, or some games that I've just enjoyed playing. This list will include, but is not limited to, games that came out in 2023, and it will also not be in any particular order. Without further ado, Tunic. I started the year with an adventure that I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did. I had seen some footage of this game and thought it looked interesting, but it's only when I actually started it that I realized I was in for a treat. What was originally described to me as a mix of top-down Zelda games and Dark Souls would eventually end up being more than that. The puzzles that Tunic throws at you are not only interesting and challenging, but also multi-layered as well. I will often admit that I'm not always the sharpest tool in the shed, but Tunic presents the puzzles and challenges in such a way that you can't help yourself but to want to continue playing it. It seems like there's always one more thing to discover, and I found myself not wanting to put it down at all because of that. I even continued playing the game off Twitch, which is very rare for me to do. It's easy to go through this game on its surface level with or without a guide by your side, but if you dig deeper, you'll find that there's a lot of lore and secrets to discover, and even multiple endings to unlock if you're up for it. Don't be fooled by the cute fox protagonist or the bright, colorful, cel-shaded graphics. This game will throw challenges at you that you may not be prepared for. All in all, Tunic was a surprise hit for me, and I will remember it fondly as a beautiful, enticing, albeit sometimes relentless adventure game that just made me feel great. Which I can honestly say the next game dials it up to 100. Super Mario Odyssey. There's something about Mario games that can always put me in the best of moods, even when I'm feeling down. This was absolutely no different for Mario Odyssey. Since this game came out a while before I played it, I knew exactly what to expect. Beautiful bright colors, a charming yet familiar cast of characters, fun platforming, and a new mechanic that allows you to capture and become the enemies throughout its levels. This game was one of the main reasons that I bought a Nintendo Switch, not that there are many other reasons, and I still sometimes play it to this day. There's a lot of moons to collect, which really scratches my I must collect everything itch. Needless to say, I played this game at a time in my life where I really needed it, and I'm glad that I can always count on Mario and the gang to make me feel better when I'm going through some hard times. But it's not only bright and beautiful games that can make me feel good. Resident Evil 4 Remake. I had never played the original Resident Evil 4, but I had heard plenty of times that it's regarded as the best Resident Evil game in the series. Sometimes even the best video game ever made, but I don't know about that. The remake coming out seemed like a good opportunity to give this poopy adventure a try and see if it holds up to the high praise of the people, and oh boy did it do just that. I really felt like I could relate to Leon, like when he jumps out of two-story buildings or when he scissor kicks a zombie into oblivion. That being said, the game was not as scary as some of the other entries in the series, and it seemed more action-oriented, which was a nice change as I did not need a repeat of the massively deformed baby chasing me from a Resident Evil village. I was a big fan of the broad options of weapons that the game gives you to choose from. You're free to upgrade your first couple of starter weapons and play through the game with those, or you can really go off the rails and get yourself an RPG. Some of the set pieces are fantastic, the bosses get bigger and badder as you progress, and the dialogue and humor is extremely cheesy, but it works really well. I had a lot of fun playing this, and a part of me wishes that I had played the original earlier, because I definitely feel like I missed out. I wouldn't think a Resident Evil game would make it on the list of my favorite games of the year, but Resident Evil 4 Remake was such a blast for me that I can see myself wanting to replay this game in the near future and having as much fun with it than I did the first time around. I also played the Separate Ways DLC that follows the story of Ada Wong and what she went through while Leon was off doing his thing, and it was a nice return to the game after letting it sit for a while. Lies of P. It's no secret to anyone that I often find myself struggling to get through Souls-like games because of the difficulty. Just finishing one of these games has always been an accomplishment for me, and I'm always very happy to do just that. Lies of P is another title that took me by surprise. I had played the demo a few months before the actual game came out, and didn't feel strongly about it, but after a few requests to play it on stream anyway, and after a little bit of a Souls-like drought, I figured if I put enough time into it and took my time learning the mechanics, I would probably enjoy it after all. And I was right. Lies of P made me feel a certain type of way that no other Souls-like game has been able to do before. It feels empty and lonely, but full of life at the same time. It's a game drenched in melancholy that will leave you daydreaming about the dark, empty streets of Paris. Sorry, I mean Krat. Everything about this game felt right. The scenery, the enemies, the combat mechanics, and I even managed to get the hang of it enough to go through most of the game on my own. If you think music is also an important aspect of a game like I do, then this game will not leave you disappointed. You can find records along the way which will unlock songs back at Hotel Krat, or you could look up the OST on YouTube and have a listen. It's honestly some of the best music in a video game this year, but do not expect it to cheer you up. Though fairy tales and dark retellings of them are not my cup of tea usually, Lies of P made me interested in the story of Pinocchio for the first time in my life. It's rare that a dark and somber game like this can pull you in so much and make you want to stay in its world, but there's something very comforting about its sad vibe, which is maybe why I loved being in that world. Super Mario Wonder. Now here's a game that can just put a smile on your face no matter how bad you're feeling. There's not much to say about this that I haven't already said about Mario Odyssey. This features the gang as we know it, but also lets you play with a bunch of different characters, like different colored Yoshis, Nabbit, and also for the first time ever, Princess Daisy. To be honest, nothing really changes depending on who you play with, but it's just nice to be able to choose. The whole wonder aspect of the game really left me wondering what they were going to throw at me next. It's a nice way of implementing new mechanics throughout the whole game rather than one new thing at the start, and have that be the only thing for the entirety of the story. In times where fun and happiness were in short supply, this game came out at the perfect time. I'll always have a soft spot for Mario games, and even though the formula is as repetitive as can be, I'll never stop playing them just because they make me feel so dang good. Ever wondered what you get when a game dev loves what they do and are given enough time to deliver a finished product that isn't all about the money? Alan Wake 2 is hands down one of my favorite games I've played this year, and it might even be in my top 3. I've always loved the thriller-esque Stephen King vibe of Alan Wake 1, even though the game doesn't hold up much anymore these days. When they announced Alan Wake 2, I was immediately sold. What they delivered was, in my opinion, nothing short of breathtaking, albeit sometimes a little confusing, masterpiece. You can tell just how much love was put into this project, as everything from the actors, the voice actors, the music to the set pieces is done masterfully and keeps you on the edge of your seat most of the game. The game is also coated in cheesy Nordic humor and vibes that make you wish you were there, even though horrible things are happening around you at all times. I played through this game when a lot of other games were releasing, so I kind of felt like I didn't experience everything this game had to offer, but it is without a doubt a world that I'm excited to go back to once I have some more time to really dive in and take my time with it. Sam Lake is a genius, and I cannot wait to see what he and the rest of his team do in the future. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC. Playing God of War Ragnarok last year was the most emotional I had ever been playing a video game before. The grand finale to an epic tale that I had been experiencing since the very first game came out in 2005 left me all but depressed for a good week after I finished it. This Valhalla DLC is a short but action-packed roguelite type of game mode that also features a lot of Kratos' backstory on which he reflects throughout the DLC. Having never finished a roguelike or roguelite before, I was proud for this to be my first one, and though I can't say how good it is compared to actual games of this genre, I can definitely say that I enjoyed this short little addition to Ragnarok. It was a very nice surprise to be able to play a free add-on to the conclusion of Kratos' story, which to me felt more of an actual finale to the game and closed things off for me pretty well. I've always felt strongly that they should end the God of War series with Ragnarok, and my mind still hasn't changed on that. They've done the character of Kratos justice, and the fans of the series that have grown up with the character, like me, have now matured and are ready for new things. no matter how hard it is to let go of characters that we love so dearly. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. To say that Tears of the Kingdom was my favorite game of 2023 might be an understatement. I don't think I've ever felt this much playing a video game as I did with this one, and there might be different reasons as to why. Without going too much into detail, my family was struck with an enormous loss, and Tears of the Kingdom was sort of an escape for not only me, but also my mother, for whom this loss struck incredibly hard. We both already had an affinity towards the Zelda games, and playing this one together helped take away some of that pain and brought us a little light back into our lives when we needed it most this year. We still find ourselves exploring the lands of Hyrule, or the depths, or even the Sky Islands, because there seems to be no end to what this game has to offer. Above all else, Tears of the Kingdom has offered us comfort in a time of heavy grief and made us smile again when everything seemed pretty hopeless, and I am grateful for that. Now, I know this isn't your traditional video game review format with some positives and some negatives and then my overall score at the end, but that also wasn't what this video was ultimately about. Focusing on what is good in life has really helped me to keep my spirits up, and I'm sure if you've watched this far, video games mean something to you too. They're at their base a source of entertainment, but for a lot of us, they end up being more than that. They help us escape the bad things in life, they help us learn, and also tell a beautiful, heartfelt stories about characters we grow to love over the course of a franchise. 2024 will surely be a year filled with adventures again, and I cannot wait to share them with you all. That's why I'd also like to give a special thanks to my little community over at Twitch. You guys have been with me through every step of the way this year, and I'm so grateful to have met so many new people. I felt a lot of things in 2023, but loneliness was not one of those things. Thank you again.